Tyler, I got a flyer, a pamphlet, if you will, from the North Dakota Tax Department talking about the property tax credit and what that means. How do I apply when you have a window from January 1st to July 31st? So, to get some answers for you all, we invited the North Dakota Tax Commissioner on, Brian Kroshus, who was gracious enough to join us here on the day after Christmas. Commissioner Kroshus, how are you?
I'm doing well, Tyler. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I appreciate your time and answering questions because I'm looking at January 1st, and that's like a week away. So people are gearing up for getting these tax credit applications in, and they just want to learn a little bit more about it. So with that, what's going on here? What's the latest of this flyer that came out?
Well, sure. It started in this past during the past legislative session. Lawmakers passed a bill to provide some property tax relief called the primary residence credit. And as you mentioned, that application period is rapidly approaching. It begins on January 1st and it goes through March 31st. So people starting again this coming Monday, a week from today, they can go online, begin to apply. And then that is for the 2024 property tax year. So to be clear on that part, the statements people just got here a few weeks back, that was the 2023 statement. So they'll pay those as they normally do. But we want to have them apply for the primary residence credit. And they'll have to wait a little bit of time. That'll be applied this coming December when they see their new property tax statements for the 2024 year. But it's up to $500. There is some eligibility requirement, but basically it has to be a primary resident and they have to be a resident of the state, and then they're eligible.
Doesn't sound like the bar is set too high then for eligibility. Basically just live in the place that you deem as your primary residence and you can apply.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Pretty straightforward overall. Some of the common questions we've been getting leading up to the application period, can a husband and wife or two people living together receive more than one credit? And the answer is no, it's one per household. So that is an important thing to note and something to keep in mind as well.
No, that is actually a great question to have answered before even going through the process, because I can about imagine the type of feedback after both the husband and wife apply. One of them gets accepted, the other's denied, and all the questions that would follow that. So if you are a couple that both have this as their primary residence, one per household at this time here. Quick question before I dive back in. Those property tax statements, people, okay, well, it's levied at the county level. Do you get a lot of complaints about property taxes into the tax department?
We get a fair number.
Yeah.
No question about that. People do call. They express concerns, especially when they see a big jump in their valuation and associated tax bill that they have to pay. And that's understandable when everyday homeowners see a big jump and it impacts their budget, their household budget, their ability to spend in other areas. I don't blame them to feel that way, and frankly, it's happened to me when I've gotten my statement before. It's when it grabs your attention like that, it's going to raise some concerns. So we do get some questions.
Yeah, and like you say, you've been subject of seeing those increases as well. So this is not just hey, Cass County, if you're listening, it is across the board at times here. Brian Kroshus, our guest, tax commissioner. There are other tax credits available. Back to the actual subject here of this tax credit that people can apply for. I know that there's the homestead tax credit. There's the disabled veterans property tax credit. Can this be used in addition to, or do you have to pick and choose if you're eligible for those other ones?
Great question. And yes, it can be used in addition to those.
Okay.
So if an individual gets either the homestead or the disabled veterans credit, if either of those are in play and they receive whatever the amount is calculated on those types of credits, if they have a remaining balance, they can then apply for the primary residence credit, and that will be applied after the other two are taken into account. So as we get into the new application period, I would encourage everyone to apply, even if they are getting homestead credit and they may think their property tax obligation will be zeroed out. Just to be safe, I would recommend they apply for the primary residence credit. If they do have a remaining balance, it will be applied against that. And if they don't, it doesn't hurt to have the application on file.
Very good. Commissioner, I've got questions coming in by text and by phone. I'm going to take the phone call first and have Al ask his question. Al, thanks for calling in.
It's funny you should call on me because I was just going to ask the question that you just answered.
Oh.
So I really don't have a question. You've already answered it because I'm going to apply for the homestead tax credit, and I'll apply then for the other tax credit as well. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks for listening. Thanks for calling on in there. I'm doing my job is what I just heard, Commissioner. That's not everyday occurrence here. Other question comes in at 35270. Would farms not paying on the house but paying lots on the land get the credit?
No, they would not. This is just for a residence, primary residence, and if you don't have a property tax obligation because of the farmstead credit and that exemption, then no, you would not be eligible to take those funds and apply those to a land payment, for example, or property taxes on land owned.
Okay. I do know it because I'm actually holding on to the flyer I got here that applications are done online. Is that the only way for those homeowners to apply for this?
Yes, that will be the only way to apply for the primary residence credit. Homestead credit actually goes through the county offices, and they handle those applications. We're going to handle the primary residence credit. But just a little bit of background on why we're going with an online-only process. We didn't pick up any staff or additional resources on the personnel side to handle the credits, so we were looking at upwards to $200,000 and how do we process those. So it's an online-only process, but we also do have a couple of we've got a division, property tax division. We'll be taking some phone calls from people who don't have the ability to go online. We'll be more than happy to help them through the process. They can also go to their county office, and they might get some assistance that way as well. But right, it's an online-only process, but again, we'll work with people that may not have access to a computer.
Sure. Well, and I've got my thoughts on how conservative the legislature could be on telling you got to do more, but not with more resources. But I won't get you into that fight. I'll save you from that. 35270. Tyler, how do you get a homestead tax credit comes in for you?
How do you apply? Is that the question?
Yep.
Or
Yep. How do you apply for the homestead?
Sure. Again, that goes through the respective counties. So we have 53 counties in the state of North Dakota, and each county would be wherever that person resides, whatever county they're in. They would go to their county or apply through their county office. They've got the information needed. Just a quick point on the homestead. Also, as a part of the tax relief bill, tax relief provided during the past session. Lawmakers did expand the homestead credit from an income threshold of no more than $42,000 to up to $70,000. So there are a number of people that will be eligible to apply for that weren't eligible in the past, weren't able to do so previously. So I would encourage them to work with their county as well. And if in doubt, make the call, see if you're eligible. But that program expanded significantly, and hopefully we can help more people out.
There's a number of questions that are all asking really the same line. So I'll throw this one out to you, Commissioner, and then I'll let you go. Are there any income limits on this credit, as there is for the homestead credit? And then another one comes in, any income or wage restrictions as far as applying for the $500 property tax credit?
No. On the primary residence credit, unlike the homestead, there are no age restrictions, no income restrictions. So any age, any income, if you have a primary residence, you are eligible to apply.
Very good. Commissioner, is there anything about this you want to get out before I let you go?
No, just to reiterate, if anyone has questions, we're going to have a line going live here toward the end of the week, and people can call us directly on the primary residence credit. Phone line will have that out, as well as an email address. More than happy to help people, walk them through the process. It's pretty straightforward, but we're there to help and encourage people. If you have questions, please call us.
Very good. Commissioner, I appreciate your time as always. You take care until next time, all right?
Thank you, Tyler. You too.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Brian Kroshus, North Dakota's tax commissioner. Get out there and apply. You can start pretty much a week from now, January 1st through March 31st, tax.nd.gov. tax.nd.gov/PRC. Property tax credit is where we're at, the primary residence right here. So again, tax.nd.gov/PRC.
I was just going to say, I pulled it up during that conversation, and it could not be easier to navigate. And all of the potential property tax credits are in one convenient location. Pull down menu to decide which one you want to start with and where you want to end. Very, very easy to navigate.
User-friendly is what we like to see here. And as you just did here as well, that they're going to have a phone number available at the end of this week and an email. So if you want to reach out and contact them directly, there'll be a couple of opportunities to do just that. Appreciate the questions that came in by phone and by the text club as well. In fact, after this, I'm going to get back to the text club because there's a whole lot of comments about the utility ratio billing, Goldmark, and how they could help you out as well. I'm coming back to that next right here on KFGO.